भी है हमें अथॉरिटी
आपके
से।
साथ सुनता हूँ मैं।
ओके, तो आज हम डिस्कस करेंगे कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल प्रोविज़न रिगार्डिंग प्रोटेक्शन ऑफ ह्यूमन राइट्स इन इंडिया। सो what are constitutional provision? As I told that the international protection of human rights came into picture after the commencement of Universal Declaration of Human Rights on 10th December 1948, when General Assembly of United Nations adopted and proclaimed the UDHR. All human beings are both with equal and inalienable rights and fundamental freedom. So the United Nations is committed to upholding, promoting and protecting human rights of every individual. This commitment stems from United Nations Charter, which affirms the faith of the people of the world in fundamental human rights and dignity of the worth human person. So, as I told that the constitution which came into force after commencement of Indian constitution enshrined the provisions relating to protection of human rights in their constitution. And not only that constitution which came into force after the commencement of the UDHR, the constitution which came before the UDHR also amended their constitution to make provision regarding protection of fundamental rights of their citizen or people. So, as I am telling about constitutional provision regarding protection of human rights, it is very important to note that our constitution came into force after the commencement of UDHR 1948. On 26th January 1950, our constitution came into effect. Though the Constituent Assembly of India adopted, enacted, and gave themselves this constitution on 26th November 1949. So, Constitution of India being longest written constitution of any sovereign country in the world, it sets out fundamental rights and directive principles of the people and also duty of its citizen. If we analyze the preamble of Indian Constitution, we get that it declares India to be sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic, assuring its citizen of justice, equality, liberty, and endeavor to promote fraternity among them. And perhaps this was also basic objective of protection of human rights at international level. So, as it is very clear that our constitution with basic objective to protect justice, liberty, and assure fraternity amongst the people of India, there are certain provisions of Constitution of India that prescribes the fundamental obligation of the state to its citizen and the duty of citizen to the state. And these provisions comprises a constitutional bill of rights, you can say, for government policy making and the behavior and conduct of citizen. If we talk these provisions, are considered vital element of the constitution, which was developed between 1947 to 1949 by Constituent Assembly of India. So if we see the provisions of fundamental right as given under the Bill of Rights or as given under the Universal Declaration of Human Rights in the form of first generation of human rights or second generation of human rights, we get that we have fundamental rights which are defined as basic human rights of all citizens. And these rights defined in part 3 of the constitution, irrespective of race, place of birth, religion, caste, creed, or sex. So, if we trace what are the fundamental rights which can be related to human rights, we get that right to equality at prominent place. Article 14 of Constitution provides right to equality, right to freedom. Article 19, right against exploitation, right to freedom of religion, right to freedom of religion, Article 25 to 28, cultural and educational right, right to life, right to education, right to protection of laws, and most importantly, right to freedom of speech and expression, as it is mother of all the freedoms. And amongst all, right to constitutional remedy have also been provided as fundamental right under the Constitution of India. Because if there is violation of fundamental right, where one can go? So it is given power to Supreme Court under Article 32 to protect fundamental rights of citizen, and citizen can go to Supreme Court by filing a writ which has been given under Article 32 of the Constitution. And it is to be noted here that right to constitutional remedy is also a fundamental right. So let me study one by one that what are rights secured by our constitution. As I told, that right to equality. Article 14 clearly speaks that equality before the law or equal protection of the laws within the territory of India. So right to equality is one of the chief guarantee of the Constitution of India, and Article 14 to 18 of Constitution provides right to equality, where we get right against discrimination, right to protected discrimination, right against untouchability. These are form of right to equality. So it refers to the equality in the eye of law irrespective of caste, race, religion, place of birth, or sex. So if we talk Article 14, Article 14 guarantees equality before the law as well as equal protection of the laws, not only to the citizen of India but also the people of India, because the word given under Article 14 that state shall not deny to any person equality before the law, equal protection of the laws within the territory of India. So this right is available to people. I mean to say this right can be entertained by a foreigner also, because this is not restricted to citizen of India. So this includes equal subjection of all the person to the authority of law, as well as equal treatment of the person in similar circumstances. And state cannot refuse this right. But here it is to be noted that no persons or group of person can be demand for any special treatment or any special privilege. This is also part of equality. Further, Article 15 prohibits discrimination on the basis of religion, race, caste, sex, place of birth, or any of them. But this right is applicable to citizen of India. So the state has right to make special treatment for women, children, and for development of backward class, scheduled caste, and scheduled tribes people, to bring them in equal status of the forward persons. Further, Article 16 guarantees equality of opportunity. It prevents the state from discriminating against anyone in respect of employment on the ground of religion, sex, race, caste, descent, place of birth, place of residence. Though here the state may provide special reservation to the people of backward classes, scheduled class, scheduled tribe, for the upliftment of weaker section of the people. Article 17 provides untouchability. It abolishes the practice of untouchability. Article 18 prohibits the state from guaranteeing any title other than military or academic distinction. And even the citizen of India cannot accept title from foreign state. So Indian aristocratic title and titles of nobility given by Britishers have been abolished by Article 18. Further, Article 19 to 22 deals with right to freedom. And right to freedom which are given under Article 19 to 20 are subject to security of state, friendly relation with the foreign countries, public order, decency or morality, and for which certain restrictions may be imposed by the state on individual liberty under a specific condition. It is not always. So though it provided certain freedom, but there are certain restrictions also. Article 19 guarantees citizens of India six fundamental freedom: freedom of speech and expression, freedom of assembly, freedom of association, freedom of movement, freedom of residence and settlement, and freedom of profession, occupation, trade, and business. And Article 20 provides protection from conviction for offences in certain respect, including right against ex post facto laws, double jeopardy, and freedom from self-incrimination. Further, Article 21 of the Constitution prevents encroachment of right to life or protection of life and personal liberty by the state. It provides that no person shall be deprived of his right to life or personal liberty except according to procedure established by law. And Article 22 deals with specific right to arrested and detained person. If a person is arrested by authority of law, then there is also certain rights to the detainee. The right to be informed of the ground of arrest, consult a liar of one's own choice to be produced before magistrate within 24 hours of the arrest, which is also known as habeas corpus, and freedom not to be detained beyond the period without an order of the magistrate. So, by virtue of Article 22, even a detained person also entitled to certain rights. You may see the case of D.K. Basu. Article 22 also provides when a person is detained under any law of preventive detention, the state can detain such person without trial for only 3 months, and any detention for a longer period must be authorized by an advisory board. So the person being detained has a right to be informed about the ground of detention and be permitted to make representation against it at the earliest opportunity. Further, Article 23 to 24 lays down certain provisions to prevent exploitation of the weaker section of the society by individual or by the state. Child labor and beggar is prohibited under the right against exploitation. Article 23 prohibits in human trafficking and forced labor and provides any contravention leads to an offense. And it is to be noted here that it permits the state to impose compulsory service for public purpose, including conscription and community service. Bonded labor system abolition act in 1976 has been enacted by the parliament to give effect article 23. Article 24, it prohibits the employment of children below the age of 14 in the factory, mines and other hazardous jobs. So Parliament has enacted Child Labor Prohibition and Regulation Act 1986, providing regulation for abolition of and penalty for employing child labor, as well as provision for rehabilitation of former child laborers. So the Employment of Children Act 1938 was the first act to prevent child labor, but Constitution under Article 24 provided it more force. Further, as I told that Article 25 to 28 provides right to freedom of religion, which provides religious freedom to all citizens, ensures a secular state in India. And according to our constitution, there is no official state religion, and the state is required to treat all religion impartially and naturally. Article 25 guarantees all person freedom of conscience and right to peace, practice and propagate religion of their choice. Article 26 guarantees all religious denomination or any section subject to public order, morality or health to manage their own affairs in matter of religion, set up or manage institution of their own for charitable or religious purpose, and own, acquire and manage property in accordance with the law. So these provisions do not derogate or deviate from the state's power to acquire property belonging to a religious denomination. Article 27 guarantees freedom for payment of taxes. No person can be compelled to pay taxes for the promotion or maintenance of any particular religion or religious institution. Article 28 prohibits religious instructions fully in state-funded educational institution. You may read Jehovah case, and Educational institution receiving aid from state cannot compel any of their member to receive religious instruction or attend religious worship without their consent or their guardian's consent in case of minor. You may read the case of Naveen Jindal. Further, Article 29 and 30 deals with cultural and educational rights. By enabling them to conserve the heritage and protecting them against the discrimination. Article 29 grants any section of citizen having distinct language, script of its own, the right to conserve and develop the same, and thus safeguard the right or interest of the minorities, preventing the state from imposing any external culture on them. It also prohibits discrimination against any citizen for admission into educational institution maintained or aided by the state on the basis of religion, race, caste, language, or any of them. Though this is subject to reservation by the state for socially educationally backward class as well as reservation up to 50% of the seats in educational institution run by minority community for citizen belonging to that community. Article 30 guarantees the right of minorities to set up and administer educational institution for their choice in order to preserve and develop their own culture, and prohibits the state while granting aid from discriminating against any institution on the basis of the fact that it is administered or managed by religious or cultural minority. And as I told, the most importantly, under the fundamental rights, the right to constitutional remedy empowered citizen to approach Supreme Court of India to seek enforcement or protection against infringement of their fundamental rights. So it is covered under Article 32, which provides a guaranteed remedy for enforcement of all other fundamental rights, and the Supreme Court is designated as the protector of these rights by constitution. So Supreme Court has been empowered to issue writs, habeas corpus, mandamus, prohibition, certiorari, and quo warranto for enforcement of fundamental rights. Though here it is to be noted that while High Court have been also empowered under Article 226, but the power of High Court under Article 226 is not a fundamental right in itself. Here the power of High Court to protect these rights is more, because under Article 32 one can go to Supreme Court for protection of his fundamental rights only, though under Article 226 one can go to High Court for protection of his fundamental rights or other rights as well.